Nick Ferrari and Ashley are here. They're going to be covering the big stories today. Good morning to both of you. Hello there, Nick,
Morning.
down the line. You all right, my darling?
Morning,
Everything
everyone.
fantastic. Looking forward to seeing you in the flesh in about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it might be.
We can't wait.
So this is an interesting one. So the Advertising Standards Authority have banned an advert by M&S claiming the model in the ad appeared unhealthily thin. This is the ASA. They include pointing out the large pointed shoes, which I guess accentuate the body, emphasised the slenderness of the legs and made the advert irresponsible. Ashley, let's start with you.
So I would first of all say that half of women in the UK are a size 18 or above, and I think that these kind of adverts don't reflect the average age of women and men in society. I used to be a model. I think it's no shock to anybody to know how toxic the modelling industry can be. Lots of models still being told continuously to lose weight.
There's lots, even now?
Even now, lots of disordered eating. And since the rise in Ozempic, we have seen a bit of a return to this body trend, and I hate that bodies are trends at all, back to this sort of 90s heroin chic. Now it's obviously the rise of Ozempic, and Felicity Hayward, who's an amazing plus-size model in the UK, has a movement called Including the Curve, and she looks at fashion weeks, and she's seen such a large drop in use of plus-size models on runways. So there is this kind of lack of representation that's continuing to decline. Loads of plus-size models out of work, even though the plus-size industry is worth about £10 billion. So
I understand and I completely agree with you on all those points. I just wonder your take on whether that is irresponsible. Because for me, that's just a girl...
for M&S?
Right, that just looks like a girl... That particular girl just seems a bit skinny.
I think
she doesn't seem underweight, and she's just modelling clothes. I don't know, I don't quite understand why that advert is banned.
I think I agree as well. I don't think it... For me, it doesn't... Does it look that bad?
Do you know what? It's really difficult because obviously I don't know that model's circumstances. I don't know her relationship to food. And of course you have people who are naturally skinny, and I don't agree with body shaming in any way, shape or form. And I know that it does exist, that a lot of people who have naturally thin bodies also face body shaming, and I don't agree with that. So, I mean, do I think that individual ad is irresponsible? Not really, in the same way that I thought when Nike were promoting plus-size gym gear and there was this big outrage about that, I don't think that was irresponsible either. So I think we have to be really careful not to talk specifically about her, but I would say just looking at campaigns in general, there was a really beautiful period, even just a couple of years ago, where you were seeing much more diverse body types. And I think diversity is really important. And I think, you know, there is a lot of harm in the desire to be skinny, because skinny doesn't always equate to health. Of course it can. So I just think, you know, I would urge all kind of brands to use more diverse models. But I don't think that we should ban any skinny model. Of course not.
Nick, what's your take on this?
Alison, you won't believe it. We've just finished my show here on LBC, and it's not asylum seekers or the state of the economy. This got so many calls and attracted so much interest. Notwithstanding the important points that Ashley makes, I think the ASA have got this wrong. I'm going to tell you that Marks and Spencer's say that they sell sizes or clothes for women, sizes 8 through 24, and they have models throughout that range. The Advertising Standards Authority even criticised the shoe wear that the young woman's wearing in the shot that I think you've put up, and also that she had a prominent collarbone. Well, she might have been born with a prominent collarbone. She seems to me to be exactly the sort of size. I take on board what Ashley says, but there are women who are that shape of size. They have every right to be featured in modelling shots for Marks and Spencer's, as does a woman who's size 20 or size 22. So for me, I think this is an unfair banning.
Very, very interesting. OK, let's go on to our next story, which is the fact that the government is set to introduce tougher online safety measures with plans for a 2-hour cap to limit the amount of time children can spend on social media. So, Ashley, should children be subject to these curfews? Should they even have a phone?
I'm going to say I don't think this is a good idea. And look, I do think that, well, we do know that increased screen time can disrupt behaviour, it can disrupt sleep. There's also a safety element that we don't know what exposure they're having to violent and sexual content. However, I really struggle with these blanket curfews because I think it takes away context and also individual circumstances, because, you know, there might be a lot of teens who are lonely, isolated. Maybe they kind of rely on an online community, especially if they're LGBTQ+ or neurodivergent. We also don't know if people are in abusive households, and maybe they need to find community elsewhere. So I just think that, yes, we need to be getting, transparency from tech companies, and they need to be not making social media so addictive. I think, obviously, it's down to strong parental tools as well. But I also do have to say, especially with, like, the school holidays approaching, parents are under a lot of pressure, especially if you can't afford or there's no option for school clubs, that sometimes you do need to use screens so that you can get your work done, and that is a reality.
It's going to be more than 2 hours as well.
Exactly. So I think, do we need to educate people about having a better balanced digital life? Absolutely. Is screen time, can it be harmful? Yes. But also, like, my son plays number blocks. There's so many great educational tools online. So I don't know if this is specifically just social media, but I'd really struggle with the blanket ban.
So how does it work, Nick? Is it 2 hours per app, or is it 2 hours altogether, how much you're using? How does it work? Can you still get phone calls?
Proposals at the moment, Alison. They're proposals at the moment, Alison. They're coming from the Technology Secretary, Peter Kyle, and he is right when he says that he's worried about compulsive screen time. And I can also take you to a survey that was done of 1,000 children, mostly aged 14 and 15, the sort of key age they're looking to address. And that discovered 40% of them, and this is worth your viewers reflecting on, 40% of them spent at least 6 hours a day online. 1 in 5, 20%, 8 hours. 8 hours a day. Now, that is a real issue. To your point, Alison, it's a 2-hour cap per platform. So a lot of people are criticising that. And to me, again, Ashley makes very relevant points, but there's little point bringing in laws. There's little point bringing in... I'm only being nice because I don't want to hug her. I don't want to give away why I don't want to hug her when I see her, but I don't want to give anything away, so I'm being nice.
You, and I don't want to give that away.
Consent anyway,
from the safety of the studio. But many people are saying, it is a bit like trying to regulate the Wild West out there. There are no point bringing in laws that are unenforceable, and it is how they think this can actually be enforced, as it were, and those kinds of... But let's get back to the heart of it. The government is right to be doing that, because they say that number to your viewers again. 1 in 5 of this particular survey, so it's not every child, and it's a small number, I accept, but 1 in 5 of the 14 and 15-year-olds are spending 8 hours a day. That cannot be healthy.
Maybe governments could also start reopening youth centres so children have somewhere to go.
Do you know what? I don't want to sound like a granny, but back in my day, we literally spent 6 to 8 hours outside. Literally all day long. I was so hungry by the time I get in. I'd eat all my dinner. But that's what we used to do, didn't we? Do you remember?
Completely.
But I think it's a really good point. The fact that there is nowhere for the kids to go. Yeah. Why doesn't the government do that? Reopen those clubs. Exactly. Drama, dancing, acting, football, the works. That's
true,
what
but
kids
also
need.
you have to give a kid an opportunity to be bored, to go and find their own way,
they
to go
need
and
to be bored.
literally just go out. Like, it would literally... I was talking to someone about this the other day. I'd have my breakfast in school holidays, and I'd go out and I'd maybe pop back for lunch, and then I'd come in when my mum was calling me in for dinner.
It's OK to be bored.
See, right? I will say that...
I disagree with you. I think it's a really good idea.
I totally understand why people want this. I just think that also the government should be looking at making it more appealing and easier for children to be outside, to be in clubs, to be in youth centres. And I still remember being on my Sega Mega Drive and my Game Boy, so I think it's easy to be nostalgic about the past, but there were things then. But I'm so grateful that I'm not around with a phone.
It's a really good point, that, because back in the day, our parents were like, oh, my God, they're on computer games. But computer games were communal. You were there with your mates playing a computer game. It's like, oh, Neil Butler, get off, I want to go, you know? I guess you could argue that the social media, if regulated properly and used properly, is similar. You are texting your friends. You're
gaming with your friends.
Is it different to my sister coming home and spending half the night on the phone to her mates back in the day when we had landlines? Do you know what I mean? It's sort of... I guess every generation is going to have their version of it.
It's the addictive nature of it that's worrying.
And it's not the same because they're not getting any exercise or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? OK, the next story is all about whether hospitals should ban sick bed selfies. Basically, actress and singer Suki Waterhouse has faced criticism this week after posting in a hospital while being treated for a hernia. Literally doing a selfie. I don't know why these always make me laugh.
She looks great.
I just think, if you could do a selfie, you're not that sick.
Wished I looked that good. If I looked that good in hospital,
if you could, like,
I'd be doing an album.
even think about doing a video and selfie, you know what, you're not that bad. You're all right. What do you think of this, Ashley?
I love a little hospital selfie. It does make me laugh, though. You normally see, like, a picture of a drip being like, not how I expected the week to go, ... But, look, I don't think it's necessarily attention-seeking. It might be to let people know. Also, we are in an age now where, like, social media is kind of the new community storytelling.
So
you know, back in the day, you'd sit around the fire.
But it is attention-seeking.
Well, I suppose it depends what you use social media for. Like, probably if I did it would be attention-seeking, yeah. I do think there's a really positive element to it that often, so especially, you know, with me, I had a lot of postnatal health issues, and by talking about them online, it also raises awareness about certain things. I think where it gets complicated is if you've got, like, the hospital staff in the background, or you're on a ward, because that's privacy.
Is an absolute red flag, and that's a huge issue. We talk about this quite a lot on the show, that you don't have the right for someone else to be your content.
Yeah.
And I think we've just lost our way as a society about that. Nick, I just want to pick up the Royal Society of Radiographers, the SOR CEO, Richard Evans, raised concerns about staff feeling uncomfortable when patients post selfies and videos to TikTok or Instagram of their procedures. They're calling for it to be mandatory for patients to seek permission before attempting to film any procedure. What do you think?
Totally right. Listen, if you're on there and you just take a photograph of yourself, as we saw with Suki there a couple of moments ago, I think we can't see any other patients, we can't see visitors, we can't see medical staff, fine. I don't know how they'd ban it anyway, because they'll just do it when no nurse or doctor is present. So again, don't try and put in a law that you can't enforce. But to your point, Dermot, you're absolutely right. No one else who is visiting a patient, who is a doctor, a consultant, a nurse, a cleaner, none of those should be photographed without their consent. So we don't need a ban, we just need to limit it to just you, and if it helps you feel better and it raises a smile when you've just had an op, and I hope this woman gets better really quickly, if it raises a smile, let's not stop that.
Do you know what you could do? You could just post it and put it into your family WhatsApp group as well, so that the people that you love and know you really well, they've got all the information.
Maybe on your out of office.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, nobody loves me, Alison. Nobody loves me, so that would be the great problem.
OK, here's a debate for you, Nick. You're going to love this. Would you admit to having nits? Well, that's what somebody around this table did. Who is it? Is it you, Ashley?
That's why I'm sat by myself. I was actually banned from the hair and makeup room today.
No, you wasn't.
Yeah, I was not allowed anywhere near.
You don't still have them, do you?
No, but I had them on Sunday. Guys, I've done 3 treatments.
No, we believe that you're all right, but I'm not going to lie. When you showed that nit, and I could actually see the insect on your social media, that was the moment where Alison Hammond turned off her camera. I actually saw it, and it really made me gag. Why on earth did you post this?
I think it's a reality. I mean, I grew up, head lice have always loved me at school. I had them all the time. Really? This is my first experience as a mum, so I was a bit like, have kids, they say. It'll be great. But also, I do feel like I'm telling people, because people often come to hug you, and even though I think I don't have them anymore, because I've meticulous with my nit comb, and I've done treatments on the kids, and I bought this preventative spray now for them, but people, I don't want to hug people if there's even like the smallest chance.
No one wants to hug you either. Not in a minute.
Don't I know?
No hugs today, have you?
No, I've had no hugs for a week.
We've moved away. What are we doing? We're moving away.
I feel like people will be itching at home. But also, I put it on the nursery, on the kids, their nursery groups, which loads of people don't, because I do feel like at least then it gives people the opportunity to nit comb their own kids. I feel like it's not shameful. It's not like because you've not washed.
No, it's not shameful.
It's something that naturally goes round.
In your head. It's not shameful at all. Nick, what do you think?
No one would care. I don't know why anyone would post it. No one would care whether I had nits in my hair. If I had it, I would keep it to myself and just try and get them treated. I applaud Ashley's honesty. People think we don't get on. Actually, we do get on famously. But I just don't feel the need to let anybody know whether I've got nits in my hair or whether I've woken up feeling a bit tired or whether I'm having sausages for tea. I just don't think anyone
want to know.
Nick, what about if you was at work?
Gives a damn
if you was
about
at
whether
work
I've
and
got
then you
nits.
found out you had nits, you'd tell us though, wouldn't you? Would you tell us that you'd had nits, or would you keep it to yourself?
I would certainly tell the makeup teams, no, you have to do that, because obviously you could put... But, I would... Yeah, anything in a professional sense. But the idea that I would go on the radio tomorrow and say, but just to let you all know, I found nits in my... No one would care!
You say that, and you were swanning around LBC, poor Tom Swarbrick or James O'Brien. Next thing you know, they've got to be quarantined, they've got nits in their hair.
No,
they call it
it's
the
Morsey I'm
nit.
after. It's Chris Moores I'm after. I'm going to go and comb my hair in front of him now.
Well, listen, we're glad that you're better, Ashley. We're glad that it's
Well,
okay.
I don't say glad, I hope you're better.
Try not to itch my head
Nick,
now.
you go and get on your knit-free bike and get in here.
On it now.
We did a knit poll, which is words I can't quite believe I'm saying. Would you admit to having knits? And the poll was no.
Yeah.
Close
50-50,
one.
really.
It's a close one. No, 52%. Yes, 48%. I'm with
It's
you.
the new Brexit.
I think if you're... That's very close. I think if you're... You should definitely tell, like
The nursery.
Yeah, kids and families
And the
whatnot
school.
around school. Right, Ash.
That was interesting.
Listen, there's a lovely room for you downstairs on your own. You can go down there.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
see you later
completely
on.
isolated away from everyone else.
And then
Thank you so much.
We'll
Ash.
clean it
That's
up.
not even because of the knits. People just don't like me.
Lovely to have you both with us.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's the handy way to keep track of your items and your loved ones, but with more and more people relying on apps like Find My Friends, is it okay to track your friends and family's location?
I have
What do you
all
think?
my friends on Find My Friends.
you?
Yeah, and my sister. I love it. I think it's... do you know what? There's a few things. Number one is, like, safety. So, obviously, as women, when we all go out, it's nice to be able to see that people actually get home. It originally started for that, but it's also I've got terrible memories. So, often my friend will tell me that she's going away and then I'll text her and be like, are you around for a catch-up? Now I can just, if I'm in her area, I'll look on the app.
How does it work?
I can show you, but it's basically like a GPRS tracking.
So, and it's to track your phone, basically.
So originally it started to help you find your lost devices.
I remember that.
And then they started doing Find My Friends. So I have my partner Tommy on there, I've got my friends on there, I've got my sister on there. I actually found out my sister was in labour because I was like, she's in the hospital.
So
I
you
can
knew.
pretend that I don't know, but I was
just
very
hook up the
excited.
phones to each other.
Yeah, so you
have
can
to
choose
accept,
to
you
do
know,
it.
If I say to you, I'd like to track you, you
No
have
way.
to accept it.
I know when you know
and,
where I am.
And opposite as well. I know where you
Forget
are
it.
anyway.
See, I think the
How
problem
you're
is
more
like when it's consensual and it's mutual and it's a bit fun,
Yeah.
I think it's great. But I think where the problem lies is if it becomes coercive.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
for example, if you're in a relationship and your partner wants you to have Find My Friends on, or
planting something on
Well, this
you.
is it.
I
What
would even
2019
argue-
Refuge reported 72% of women accessing services said they're subjected to technological facilitated abuse, which is what that is, I guess.
And I'd also say, parents that have it to track their children. And I understand that why people would want to do that. But I guess if you're a teenager, what does it say about boundaries if your parents are tracking you, especially if it's without
Tough
your
love,
consent?
what it says. Shut up. Shut up and get on with it.
You're like, well, how do you use it again?
Yeah.
I guess the problem is that technology moves faster than our social norms, doesn't it? So we're still trying to catch up with this technology.
Yeah.
So for me, it's fun. For some people, it might not be.
I've got the Ferrari grimace.
No, the only thing that I track is my car. I know where that is because it was stolen recently, so now I have a tracker. So
You've got
I know.
a tracker on it?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I've got everything. I've got everything on that car.
Ghost.
I totally get. I have actually.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you got a ghost on it?
Yeah.
Ghost?
A ghost is like, imagine I put a ghost on, it's about 400, 500 pounds, maybe a bit more. Anyway, so basically I have to touch the window twice, then I have to touch another button, I have to do a
Otherwise the car won't
sequence of
start.
things, otherwise
Before
the
you
car...
get in the car?
The car
No,
won't
to start
start.
it.
To start
wow.
the car, I have to touch the window
Well, don't
twice.
say what it is.
Well, no, I
meant to be-
haven't got one.
Oh, you haven't got one, oh, right.
Ghost, but
Giving
I'm
it
just
away
saying,
for you.
I'm giving you an example. You have to do a certain
Yes.
sequence
Yes.
before you start the car.
That's right.
It's a good idea, though, isn't
And
it?
also the second verse of the national anthem, which I always find
Yeah.
very difficult.
Turn the radio on.
No one knows. Yes, so I've got one of those. So I would, yes, I do track my car, and I would get it if my children were young. And I think also people use it for pets, particularly if you've got a dog who just takes off. But tracking your friends, I mean, maybe they don't want you to know where they are.
No, but they have to consent
but
to be able to
perhaps
do
at
it.
times
I
they
have
might-
had an awkward situation that a friend took me off to Find My Friends without telling me. So I was like, oh, maybe she did feel like I was stalking her.
It's a bit intrusive.
My friend Nicole.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
she found out that her boyfriend was going to propose to her. Why? Well, because he said he was going to a business meeting. When she looked at his tracker, he was at a jewellery shop. So she knew he was going to propose to her.
I tell you what couple should have had them. The Coldplay
Yeah,
Kiss
the
Cam couple.
Coldplay.
Absolutely.
They should have had them, shouldn't they?
Well, no, they shouldn't have had it.
Or maybe
Then
they
they
should.
would have known that they were at a Coldplay concert when they probably said they was at a meeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there you go.
We like it.
I've just-
Are we
No, I'm
growing?
not. No, I'm
no.
not. No.
Yay.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
already
but
happy
not
apps.
if it's used for, like, power and coercion.
Right. You can't be the judge of that, can we? That's the problem.
Yeah.
But you do notice with Gen Z, they absolutely love using it. You've got Snapchat. You can literally go on Snapchat and see where your mates are.
I know.
They're more comfortable with using it. I'm not sure about my age group. Not sure about that.
merged stendoos, taken over traditional stag and hen do's. Maybe a wedding rite of passage, but brides and grooms are starting to ditch traditional stag and hen do's in favour of a so-called stendu. I quite like the sound of a stendu. Are you having a stendu?
No, I'm not having a stendu. Bizarrely, the next Mrs. Ferrari, and that's the first time I've said that, the next Mrs. Ferrari is going to Barcelona this weekend with her girlfriend.
Lovely.
So the hen is in Barcelona. No, I'm not. For God's sake, no, I did it before. I don't need another one. But if that's a nice one, I think that's actually quite a good idea.
I like the idea of just doing it with the girls.
Do you?
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I do. I like to just have my hen do. I don't want you in my hen do. What are you doing? Get out of my
Invite
hen
me
do.
to your hen do today.
Well, you were allowed to go to my hen do. I'm just saying I wouldn't want to do a
metaphorical hen
stag
do, not
do
actual.
and a head do
Do you know
together.
my brother met his now wife on a sten?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
There we go.
So
Really?
they,
Wow.
It's nice.
his now wife is from America, and her best friend was marrying my brother's friend, and they did a joint sten in Edinburgh, I think because of the cost of having to, like, bring people over. And, yeah, my brother wouldn't be married today if it wasn't for
There
the
you go.
sten.
You've sold it to me now.
Thing is, as well, like, largely, hen do's are quite nice affairs, whereas, like, we've both been on, I imagine, some awful stags.
Yeah.
Like, I've been on some great stags and some really lovely life-affirming.
A
These
few
are
years ago for me.
And then I've been to some absolute stinkers as well. You're there going, what am I doing? Why am I
Also,
here?
there's that, like, idea of your last night of freedom, and I hate that, because surely you've been in a relationship and you shouldn't be having, like, certain freedoms.
I don't think that's what it is anymore, though.
There are some, though, aren't there?
Really?
Certainly none of the company
what
I
happens
keep,
on the
actually.
stag
Yeah,
stays on the stag.
exactly.
No, do you think that still goes?
I don't
Also,
think
I
so.
think if you're going to plan one...
What were you? You got trackers on everybody. Never going to happen with this one.
you can't come,
Be very
can you not?
careful, Tommy.
What are you doing?
Oh, brilliant. What's the next story?
I'll tell you what, studies confirms men are punching on dating apps. So analysis of online dating sites has revealed men tend to punch above their weight, basically. Their
What does
attractive
that
level.
mean,
It
punching?
means you're going out with someone better looking than you,
Right.
which I just think that's nothing to do with dating apps. That's just men.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Men always do that, don't they? I mean, you just don't believe their profile for a moment, and women are just basically more truthful. Legal, honest, decent.
Could
and
it be
truthful.
the other way around, that the woman is punching also?
Well, not
Doubtful.
according to this study.
Right. Tell us about it, Ash.
Well, so this is based on heterosexual users of a Czech dating app, and it showed that men tend to pursue women who are more desirable than themselves. But I think you see this with jobs as well, don't you? If, like, men are more likely to apply for a job if they've done one of the 5 things, whereas a woman could have done 4 of the 5 things, and she's like, oh, maybe I'm not experienced enough. But I think it's... showing, like, the age ranges that they're putting and everything is just a bit different. But I'm honestly not surprised by this. I've got a lot of friends who are still online dating, and they've just had some, like, real horror stories. So,
Really?
yeah.
But do you think men are looking for something completely different to what women are looking for? Like, men are looking for maybe looks, ultimately, and women are
initially
more
looking
on
for attraction.
personality, maybe career. And I think, women probably would look at their man's career more.
I don't know. I feel like it really varies, doesn't it? And I also think if you're looking at, like, traditional relationships, maybe men are looking for more in general, that typically women do much more of, like, the housework or the child raising, traditionally speaking. But
know if that exists.
I would say that there is definitely a level of attraction for women as well. It's really hard, isn't it? Because you can't really generalise.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, but
I always look at the
I'm not
the picture.
shocked that men are punching, because I do think that women are, like, there's so many more amazing women out
Do
there.
the pictures always
It's
match up?
it's very
They don't
important to
always
look at the
match up.
picture. I don't really like selfies on a dating
But do you
app.
not think just
Gym
aside from dating
selfies,
apps, do you think
especially
that's just innately we're just bred as species to find people that like to try and get someone more attractive than we are? Just that's just in our genes to try and do
Yeah,
that.
probably. Yeah,
And I
you're
wonder
probably
if it-
right.
I
Depends on
suppose
your
as well,
age.
the thing is with online dating, I imagine men and women, it probably is a bit more superficial because you're not going on a connection, whereas, like, the old school way, you'd see someone and you have a bit of good banter, like, you don't know any
That's
of
the
that.
best way.
Yeah, well, I
Well,
met
Do you know
Tommy
what?
on
I
a
was like,
dating app.
I'm lucky because I sort of met my wife before any of this existed, and I'd be terrified to go on it now. But you do hear a lot of really lovely stories about people meeting online, and obviously they have to have that initial spark, and then they sort of grow to properly love each other. So it must work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
agree. Listen, did any of you see Kat's Instagram post where she
amazing.
posted when she was literally recreating a photo taken on the same beach that she'd been holiday on with her family?
Oh, look at
like,
that.
30 years ago. So that's her 30 years ago. And then
She has aged so well.
She literally looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Me.
It's so lovely. It's making me think that I want to go back to my childhood destination,
This is it. A
which
lot
would
of
have been
people are, aren't they?
Butlins. Which would have been Butlins, yeah.
I was
My mum used
Butlins
to take
girl.
us- Really?
Yeah.
A new poll has found that more than half Britons admitted they want to relive the childhood youth of their holidays with their own children. 90% of us think staycations are the best holidays ever.
They
I guess
are.
those moments when you were a kid. What would be yours?
My father was Swiss, so we would drive to Switzerland. This is absolutely true. And an old mini car, not the big. And there would be my two brothers on the back seat, and I would sit on my mother's lap.
No!
Honestly, and we would drive from Dover to Calais, and then all the way break to Baden-Baden in Germany, and then arrive in Switzerland to see the family.
Wow.
That
In
is
a mini.
different times. That's
So
very
In a
thanks,
mini.
Kat, I'm not going back to that.
No, you're not doing it
No
again.
one's around.
Your mum put a shift in there, didn't she?
Yeah. Now you'd be in a
I wasn't
Bentley.
this size.
Now you'd be in
a little boy.
a lovely Bentley, driving that lovely Bentley.
Oh, what
With
are
a little-
yours?
Well, our common one was going to Morecambe. I remember doing the crabs. I've still got a scar on my head from when I fell out of the caravan top bunk.
Oh, my God.
But my most memorable holiday is when I went to Disney when I was 11 years old with my parents. We went to the Florida one.
Oh,
There I
wow,
am.
there you are.
That's
Oh,
me,
you
my
look
little
so
sister.
happy.
I loved Winnie the Pooh, and I actually took the kids just a couple of months ago, and it did really feel like, there we are, so that's me again.
haven't changed.
And
She hasn't
Alfie.
aged.
Who's changed a bit, though, hasn't he?
Have you got some elixir that you're on?
My sister's
Who's,
changed.
who's on the jabs?
Yeah.
He's loving the jab at the minute.
Have that microphone back. You need to drop that now, please. The show's not going to get any better than that. There we go.
Oh, thank
great.
you so
Thank you,
much,
you two.
Ashley and Nick. I'll
you.
see you
Yeah.
in September.
Yeah.
See you in
Well,
September.
hopefully the knits will have gone back.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good idea. Better put this back on.
Yeah, put it back on.
Yeah, putting it back on. Yeah.
Here we go.
'Cause I've got to walk out the studio with it. So thanks very much.
See you later. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.